This, my friends, is the Skullcandy Smoking Buds, the cheapest earbuds in the company's catalog. And this, on the other hand, is the Skullcandy Rail ANC, which happens to be the priciest earbuds that they sell. One is 25 bucks, the other 100. And what we're going to try to answer today are questions such as, is the Rail ANC actually 4 times better than this? Does cheap mean bad? Or are neither of these even worth your trouble? Welcome to Gear Up. My name is Aaron, and I know you can see my nipples today because I chose the wrong shirt, but we'll deal with it. Let's do it after these messages. The Skullcandy Rail ANC retails for 100 bucks and has Bluetooth 5.2 on board with AAC and SBC support plus multi-point Bluetooth connection. In the business end of things, let me try to focus on this a little bit better. Through the transparent window here on the back side of the earbud, on the outside is matte, you can kind of sort of see what does all the grunt work. 12mm drivers here that port sound through this little short sound port. That's oval, protected by a mesh grill. And the ear tips are pretty easy to put on. They're nice and soft. Let me try their camera shy right now. There you go, it's done. On the outside is touch controls, by the way. IPX4 water dust resistance, not for the case. This thing is not waterproof in any way. There are 2 mics per side, one at the bottom, one on the inside that handles phone calls and ANC. And this thing weighs a pretty light 6 grams for what it is per side. Battery life for these, I got around 9.3 hours listening time at 65% volume with AAC, so that's pretty darn strong actually. It has wireless charging in the back and USB-C charging at the bottom here. This thing is bisected. One is shiny plastics here and also matte plastics right there, kind of discreet of a Skullcandy logo, which is nice. And on the inside, you can see is fully transparent. You can see the innards and there's a nice cool blue LED lighting right there. It's a challenge to clean right down there because the contact points are right at the bottom, so be sure to keep up to date on cleaning any gunk or oxidation that does happen at the contact points if you do get these moist or wet in any way. And by the way, this has side tone for phone calls. That means when you get a phone call, you can hear yourself talk a little bit better. You'll patch through your voice, therefore it sounds more natural. The earbuds are also controlled by the Skull IQ app, which is really one of the best in the business. It has some of the best voice control speeds and options out there. It has a lot of customization. It has also the tile or uses tile service to find your earbuds when they get lost. And it spans across Skullcandy's product lineup. And by the way, this doesn't have, for what it's worth, it doesn't have wear detection. Oh yes, one more thing I haven't shown you yet is the shake test. And by the way, this lid is kind of a weak sauce. I wish this had a stronger locking mechanism. But anyways, let's hold this open and it's a fail right there. So thumbs down for that. The Smoking Buds, on the other hand, retail for $25. It has Bluetooth 5.1 on board with SBC support, 6mm drivers on each side doing all the business here. And if I'm not mistaken, it's the same ear tips as the Rail, so they're really easy to remove and reinstall. Oval ear tips, mesh protection grill there. Let's try this on screen, see if it's camera shy. There you go, it's done. Shiny plastics on the inside, matte plastics on the outside, a little bit of a touch controls. It can also cycle through 3 EQ presets that are built into the bud, so there's a command for that. You can just tap it to cycle through it. So there's no app support in case you're wondering. And these things are made of 50% certified recycled plastics. The packaging is 100%. So it's really nice to see this kind of initiative. IPX4 water dust resistant, so identical to the Rail. Battery life for these things, I've gone around 8.4 hours at 65% volume. So that's pretty good actually. The inside of the case, matte plastics everywhere, really easy to clean. And this whole thing is really light. The lid also kind of sort of is weak sauce, but I know for a fact this will pass the shake test, so thumbs up for that. Obviously, this thing you can see has cheaper plastics abounding everywhere, but in this case for the price, I'm not gonna knock it here. So welcome to Gear Up's patented outdoor Bluetooth range test. Yes, if you have the Rail ANCs going, playing Jack of Speed by Steely Dan, and it's running through my OnePlus 11 there, sitting at the end of my deck. And I'm going to take these Rail ANCs from the back of my house towards the side. And how this test goes is just we're figuring out when the signal loss begins and go from there. So where I'm standing is around 26 feet away from the phone right there at the end of my deck. It hasn't moved. Thank you for joining me, guys, by the way. Nice to see y'all. And it usually would, right around here, 38, 39 feet is when we start to get signal loss based on the Bluetooth protocol. And just for fun, I'm going to see if these get a disconnect and see how far we can go. lately with Bluetooth 5.2 and 5.3, they've been really strong. Like right now there's nothing playing, but we don't get a full disconnect either. So, you know, they try to hang on for what it's worth. Look at that, there's a house between the phone and myself, so that's not bad for a tiny thing like this. You can see the fit of these in my ears. They are not the smallest, but they are very comfortable, I would say. And it doesn't protrude too far out from the ears, actually probably from the ear lobes, maybe like 0.5 millimeter, not much at all. They're quite discreet, and the stems are mercifully short. Meteor just started playing again once we're back in range. So let's take these for a little run. Oh. And let's do this pounding test. Not that kind of pounding test. Like I'm pretending to be a, you know, amateur runner who doesn't like absorb your steps or just jump off the steps like these. They don't shift. These things haven't not moved, and I don't feel any kind of pressure in the ear canal. So thanks to the lightweight and the really comfortable ear tips, these are pretty good for working out. So let's switch over to the smoking buds and see how those things handle the same situation. The smoking buds are on right now. We switched over and I just got a signal cut off. It's like barely 24 feet, like back there, 20 feet, I would say it started cutting out. So, oh, you're gonna have to be cautious about how far you walk away from. It's 25 bucks, guys, come on. But still, yeah, it's already lost the signal. Wow, that's a big difference. So, take it for what it is. Gonna keep walking. Do we got a disconnect tone this time? Yep, just got to disconnect it right here. Around 55, 54 feet. So there you go. Again, let's take these for a run. These are much smaller, by the way. Super light. You can definitely feel how much lighter these are compared to the rails. They're so compact and comfortable with the same kind of ear tips. It's a plus right there. So okay, the smoking buds are up first, and we're supposed to get lots of traffic. It's supposed to be rush hour right now. I think we just missed it, but it has just rained. We got lots of rain coming through today, and I just managed to get a lull period. So pardon the lighting, it's kind of like going in between dull and bright and all that kind of such. But anyways, these sound fine when it's quiet, right? Yeah, I've heard worse for a lot more money, so not bad at all. Here comes some traffic up from up the road. Testing 1 2 3. But when the noise suppression algorithm kicks in, you'll hear where the money has not gone to. So testing 1 2 3 again. There's another car coming up the road. Yep, here comes more vehicles. Testing. How's that sound? Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the rail ANC and see how that does, if it's actually 4 times better. All right, the rail ANCs are next, and right off the bat, here comes the traffic. By the way, you can hear for yourself how these things sound. It's not 4 times better, but it is quite a bit more composed and a little bit deeper, a little bit nicer, warmer to your listeners. And one thing I also noticed is for both, wind reduction, just forget about it. It's okay. And also something that I forgot the term. I mentioned it in the specs earlier. When you get a phone call, there's a hear-through mode of some kind, like where you can hear your voice better instead of, because these have really good passive isolation. When you get a phone call, it lets your voice sound more natural instead of it, you hearing your own voice in your skull. So the smoking buds don't have it. These do, and it sounds really nice. And you can talk where are all the traffic? Thanks for joining me, by the way, guys. I really appreciate you watching. So what do you think? Comment down below. Which would you pick? Which would you buy? Like, one is 25 bucks and the other is $100. Here comes a whole bunch more cars up and down the road. Testing. 1 2 3. How's that sound? In a second, we'll head back to the studio and start talking about both of these. Is this good enough for you? Not the splash test, but it's the heavy rain test. Oh my goodness. The rail surprised me with its audio performance. It has this little consumer-friendly V-shaped tuning that's willing to play in most genres. Whenever I listen to Johnny Cash's Hurt, the soundstage is maybe about half a foot away from my head, like Johnny's husky bass baritone is right smack between my eyeballs, which is really nice. Whenever he goes like, "And you could have it all, my empire of dirt," the drivers kind of overdo the intentional grittiness there of the recording, kind of like over sharpening on a camera. Bass is strong and confident, but it doesn't like to play in the lowest of the low. It drops off a little too early for my preference. To explain it a little bit more, it kind of feels like, the low frequencies are down around your jaw area rather than in your chest. As long as the song or genre you're listening to isn't too busy, unlike the Gothic Symphony No. 1 in D, where the drivers can't contain the swelling vocals and the crashing instruments coming in all at the same time, the overall SQ on these is very appealing to me. It's neither fatiguing nor floppy. It's perfectly in line with the price point. Skullcandy has to be praised for its app. From powerful voice command options to buttloads of customizations for the sound and controls, it's relatively easy to find what you need, and also it's tastefully colorful. And if you want to hear more about what I have to say about Skull IQ as a whole, and that's what the app is called, it's right up here somewhere in the Crusher ANC video, so feel free to check that out. Transparent see-through devices are trendy nowadays, and the Rail ANC follows suit, in a tasteful and slightly unique sort of way. Most of the transparentness focuses on the inside edges of the earbud as well as the cavity of the case, and it's cool being able to see the driver assembly, some of the circuitry, as well as the battery cells. And what's also neat is the blue LED backlighting when you open the case, that it shines right through like some of the components. And yes, I'm a child because this kind of gimmick has not gone old yet. If there's a nitpick in this area, it would be the amount of unsightly adhesives visible through the transparent windows. I'm not sure if it's my unit alone or what, but I've had frequent connection issues with the Rail. In my 3 weeks of use, it's forgotten my pairing with both my OnePlus 11 as well as the Pixel 7 Pro at least like 4 to 5 times each, and that's not cool. Another frequent occurrence is my phones will randomly flash unable to connect with Rail ANC, a little dialog box, even though the buds are off and I double checked they are back in the case seated properly. Coincidentally, the same thing also happens from time to time with the Crusher ANC headphones, which leads me to believe it's got something to do with the way Skullcandy does Bluetooth. I have harped on Skullcandy's ANC tech before, and I'm afraid guys, it's a rerun here in the Rail ANC. And sure, it does kill off some dB overall, but it's not a very good system, especially when you compare it to the competition. I'll rank it somewhere between a C- and a C+. Most of the effectiveness that I can tell comes from the really good passive seal, but other than that, this thing feels like pass-through mode is constantly on of some kind, like pass-through, like voices come through really clearly. So I think this system overall really needs a major boost in 2024. I'm listening to more music just to remind myself what these sound like, and let me tell you something. This thing should be sounding like something from an Asian night market or a clearance bin at Marshall's. But aside from being a little bit muffled in the upper bass regions, it sounds more akin to like a $75 TWS or a $40 IEM. That's pretty darn good. It shouldn't, but it does. Now, anything above 80% volume turns composure on its side, like specific instrument dynamics, like trumpet blares and cymbal crashes, they do get overly harsh. But other than that, these things are not bad at all. Thanks to the super affordable price, I can see these as being perfect stocking stuffers or as expendables. Buy it as something you can just throw in your gym bag or take it on a trip where you know the country you're going to always gets things stolen, so you really don't have to worry about these. What I also really like is Skullcandy kept the smoking buds simple without skimping too much on the basics. In fact, the concept kind of reminds me of JLab's Go Air Pop series. You know, useful features minus the fluff and something you don't mind spending on even if you're literally broke. Aside from materials quality, no app support, limited controls, things that really don't need to prove themselves on a $25 device anyway, there's really nothing I can truly call a con on the smoking buds. Nothing that's a major deal breaker anyway. So I guess that's a good thing, right? So this video is about extremes in the Skullcandy universe, if not beyond, because I wanted you to see that not everything cheap is bad, and or that you don't have to spend like quarter of your paycheck to obtain good top-of-the-line gear. The Smoking Buds is dirt cheap, it sounds better than it should, it performs well in endurance and weather resistance. In other words, it's a basic set of earbuds which gets the basics right that can easily take a licking without you worrying about replacing it when it does break. The Rail ANC is a great first dig at the top tier space, but again, Skullcandy, you need to rethink the whole noise cancellation setup. You get that sorted and you'll have gold on your hands. The sound is punchy, the app is fantastic, it's comfortable as well, but unfortunately at this price, and honestly no one saw this coming until a couple of months ago, the same priced Soundcore Liberty 4 NC outperforms this thing in almost every metric. So with all that said, I'm giving the Rail ANC a gear up score of 8.2 out of 10, with the Smoking Buds coming in at 7.8 out of 10. So thank you so much for watching this and for being here, guys. Thanks to Skullcandy for sending me these as always, but it doesn't affect my opinion. That's how we roll here. If you like what I do, if you like the tech videos, check out my playlist. Remember to subscribe down below, thumbs up if you like this video, and comment down below, say hi. I might try to say hi back. I'm trying to keep tabs with all the different comments that come in. And remember to do something loving and kind for somebody in this world, guys, because guess what? The world needs it more than ever, and it starts with you. I love y'all very much. Peace out, and God bless.